All right, everybody, welcome to Wrestling with Reality. Yes, I know we're playing Hulk Hogan's music, and it's a Ric Flair show, and I just don't care because I'm in a Hogan type of mood, my friend still. Rest in peace to the GOAT, once again, the great Hulk Hogan, the man. I had to play his music tonight, Richie. Sorry, man.
No, don't apologize, brother. I'm still missing Hulk Hogan a lot. I've been talking about him every single day, watching videos on him, everything like that. It's still a fresh wound, brother. So I feel you on that.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody, man. I'm happy to be here. I know Richie's happy to be here. I'm John, and that's Richie. We're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to talk about the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. We're going to talk a little bit about the rise of him, the fall of him. We're all going to definitely have some woos tonight because the Nature Boy, no matter if you like him or not, he is one hell of a character, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, baby. Going to cover the fourth person a little bit. We're going to cover Ric Flair. When you look at Ric Flair, man, his career span, God, so long. I mean, across generations of wrestling. This guy's old as shit, and he's been at a top level for a long period of time too. Whether he was a manager, whether he was a wrestler, whatever he did, man. Whether he was the head of the faction or whether he was just part of the faction in Evolution. He was a great contributor, and he was a great person to put in those modes. He could fit in any position he needed him to, brother.
This always makes me happy. We'll get back to Rick in a second. When we get people from all across the world, man, even from the Philippines, Rick is the ultimate yang of Hulk Hogan, but it's hard for him to play the hero of good when your moniker is the dirtiest player in the game. Hey, Eamon,
they had a lot of great programs together. And Eamon, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you coming out tonight. They had a lot of great programs together, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. So,
yeah, they did. I think that's a really good analogy that you put there. Kind of the ultimate yang of Hulk Hogan. It's really a good analogy for it. Once again, welcome. I'm going to be in your country next week, so I'm a frequenter of the Philippines. I'll be there next week, so can't wait. Let's see who else is in the chat here tonight. Rabbi Moses is here.
Great rabbis in the house.
Boy, he is here tonight. Shalom and Mazel Tov, my wrestling brethren. Lawrence is here.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. From all greetings from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Jude the dude, what is going on, dude? Jeremy Rivera, 2 weeks in a row. Great to see you there, buddy. Jeremy. Thank you for that. The intro is fire. I always love it too, man. I know you're a Brad Armstrong guy too. Jude says Ric Flair is equals overrated. It spans.
Jude, I'll agree with you to a certain point. Ric Flair is overrated. If you're talking about probably, I would say 2000 and on, definitely overrated. Prior to that, I think he was in his prime. So
I'm going to share a lot of Ric Flair thoughts tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a few stats, if you don't mind, man.
You want to get right into Flair, or you want to talk some modern shit first?
Well, let's. I just want to read something real quick that I was looking at earlier, and I was kind of thrown off by this. I didn't know this.
Okay, hit me.
So he's claiming that he had 25 world championships. Okay.
How?
And it just so happens that John Cena breaks his record of 17 times. So Ric Flair was a 16-time champ. John Cena does it 17 times. Now all of a sudden he's claiming that it's 25 championships.
Okay.
In true Nature Boy fashion.
Fair enough. He's always got to be the center of attention, right?
He's got to be. Man, I'm glad he got that cancer removed off of his face. I thought that he had taken a tumble at a bar or something like that. I didn't realize. Cancer. Yeah, so I guess it was skin cancer. But somebody showed me a video of Ric Flair today when I told him basically we were doing this show. Man, he was at the bar, and the bar owner was just screaming at him and telling him to get the fuck out of his store. And
was that from last year when he got in trouble?
He shit his pants, and it was
that's when he shit his pants and pants.
Yeah,
save that for later. Save that for later. Go on.
It was so sad, bro.
I know. Save that for later because that's gonna kind of come into the end of it with the fall of Ric Flair later. So hold on to that thoughts. Let's talk a little modern topics. Vince McMahon is back in the news today.
Oh,
did you hear this one?
Wrecked his Phantom.
Dude, the fucking genetic jackhammer was cited for, I think, disorderly conduct and speeding, amongst other things. He was riding in his Bentley Phantom, right? Was it Bentley Phantom?
Bentley Phantom, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Or
in this.
no, excuse me. No, it was just the Bentley GT.
Okay, just the Bentley
Yeah.
GT. You know, he
Which
was.
just the Bentley GT, right? Like,
Yeah, just the Bentley GT. He was cruising around, and I guess he was going about 80 miles an hour on some
reckless
highway.
driving.
Yeah, 80 to 90, and he literally almost killed this lady. And I'm not laughing at that.
This
It's
can't
just,
catch a fucking break.
no,
dude.
this guy just can't catch a fucking
I
break.
mean,
And then she released like a public thing on Facebook today about it, and it's all over the news and everything like that. It's all over the
do
fucking
you think
news.
Vince offered her a special bag of toys that were named after some wrestlers?
He told her he'd name his next round of toys after her or something like that.
Do
If
you
she just
think he has a toy named Rewind?
I don't know. He might
Is it his whip that he flogs people with?
say his name and he appears, right?
Yep.
Or we just
Rewind hasn't been here in a while. It's really
well,
strange.
he had a Facebook date last week, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. So did Rabbi. That's really weird.
Yeah, he had a Facebook conference, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Facebook conference. Just the irony of that, right?
Yeah.
What about our Truths Championships?
R-Truth is the GOAT, if you ask us on this
He's
channel.
pretty awesome, man. He's pretty damn awesome. He does have a garage full of Bentleys and then some, I'm sure, Rabbi. But apparently Vince is a guy that likes fast cars. You know, that's something
Who wouldn't with that kind of money?
Well, if you're a fucking billionaire like that or close to it, I'd have a more than a garage full of Bentley Phantoms and all that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I would have a lot of lifted trucks.
This guy cannot fucking catch a break though, like you said.
No. He just can't, dude. You know, you're becoming the disgraced owner of the WWE, even though he's not convicted of anything, by the way. I gotta say that. This guy has not been convicted of anything. And as this court case goes along more and more, you're finding out that all the evidence is falling apart. That yes, they were two consenting adults. That's what it looks like to me. It's exactly what we call it, spot on. You know, this Janelle Grant lawsuit, you know, it's still going forward, and this is for educational purposes out there. So this is just opinion stuff. In my opinion, I think that it was two consensual adults, and I think that it just got a little out of hand, maybe a lot out of hand. I don't know, but
she's going to get paid.
She was in agreement until she wasn't getting paid anymore.
Yeah, and she's going to get paid well from this. Trust me.
So all of a sudden, she don't get paid the money that they promised her, you know, in the non-disclosure agreements, and all of a sudden she files this gigantic, you know, human trafficking lawsuit and makes Vince McMahon to be out like he's fucking like Epstein, you know. So it's a sad way to see Vince McMahon go. I didn't want to see him go like that. I knew he was a freak and a weirdo and stuff, but which billionaire isn't, you know?
Yeah. When all you have is money, that's what the power comes in for them. Isn't it amazing to think that this all could have been avoided if the dude just would have paid $3 million to her, and
if he would have paid it out of his own money?
Yeah, that never would have come about any of this. Like $3 million.
He was so arrogant and feeling like he was so untouchable. And
Yeah.
you know what? It might have been something to kind of make her feel like she was even more controlled in a controlled situation. A lot of people that are like that have their thumb on somebody, they think they're invincible and that they run the show. He's a true narcissist, in my opinion.
You think?
Yeah, you know.
You think? I mean, it's a crazy situation, man. Like $3 million to this guy is nothing. Okay.
I didn't see Vince go this way, dude. I wanted to see him get his Hall of Fame speech and all that. You know, it sucks. It sucks. He's been in so many great storylines. My favorite storyline of all time, Vince versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was just watching earlier today, Stone Cold, when Vince was telling him, I need the old Stone Cold. Just great storylines he was involved in, man. And what a great actor and wrestler and heel Vince McMahon was. You know, I loved the character.
Jeremy, what's up, my friend? Good to see you tonight. Hope everybody else is doing well out there.
Lawrence. Next Fast and Furious movie Vince is going to be in. That's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna be working with Vin Diesel, man. They're both gonna be about as old as one another in the next in the final installment, if that's what it really is. Jesus, that shit is still going on. You know, I mean, how much more can Gino? What's the name in the movie?
Vin
Toretto,
Diesel?
Dominic Toretto.
Dominic Toretto. Yeah.
Dominic Toretto. How many more fucking crazy stunts can he drive his car off a mountain and live and shit? You know?
Yeah.
Go fucking skydiving with a car and still make it through okay, you know?
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah, but Vince is something. Let's go to Chelsea Green. Did you see the controversy of Chelsea Green? I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Chelsea Green. I really am, typically. And I think she's a great character. I think the world of her. I think she's got a great ceiling to her. I think she's going to be a big star. She made a great tribute to Hulk. It was very respectful. It was very tactful. It was very nice. And then the woke mob had to come around and attack her for it and give her death threats and do all these other things and crazy things that they say. But Chelsea then makes an apology to these people about her comments, which were the nicest comments in the world. And in no way did she condone racism or anything like that in there. And she apologizes to these people that attack her, on social media. Did you see this crap?
I saw this. I saw too much of this shit. First of all, I saw a bunch of articles. Me and you, I was red hot because I was sending you articles that people were putting that, they were celebrating the man's death, Hulk Hogan, and saying, thank God he's dead, and that MAGA piece of trash, and he's so racist and all this shit. First of all, I want to put to your attention, Hollywood Hogan was involved with Mr. T and bringing him in, who is an African American celebrity, brought him in under his wing, didn't have to do it. Didn't have to do it at all. He had creative control. Didn't have to bring Mr. T in. Didn't have to put him in the position he was in a major storyline in WrestleMania and shared the spotlight with him. Once again, I'll say that Hulk Hogan shared the spotlight with an African American. How is he racist? And again, I'll point to the NWO situation when he brought in Rodman, African American, did a program with Karl Malone, African American. All these other people, put him over to the moon. Made Rodman look like $1 million, didn't have to do any of this shit, but he did it because he was a professional, not a racist. I'll look you in the face and tell you, dude, I'm as guilty as anyone else of saying, race jokes and stuff like that. Everybody's done it. And if you say you haven't done it, you're a liar or you're the Pope. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you like this,
even he's probably done something bad like that too.
To sit there and throw the stones that these people are throwing at Chelsea Green for honoring one of the greatest of all time that she admired probably her whole life, probably was one of the reasons she got in the wrestling business. Like a lot of wrestlers, they grew up watching Hulk Hogan. To sit there and tell her that you're going to give her a death threat over honoring somebody she respected. I'm the kind of guy that's like this, man. I'll tell you what. If you have an upside down fucking cross in your yard and you want to light it on fire, I don't give a shit. You know why? It doesn't bother me. It's your freedom of speech. That's the great thing in this country. We all have freedom of speech, freedom of feelings and all that stuff, freedom of religion, whatever you want. The line that I draw is when you start to force it down other people's throat. Okay. And what they're doing to her, this woke mob is attacking her for using her freedom of speech and saying she appreciated someone. Joe Biden has read the eulogy for the KKK member, the leader of the KKK, the creator of the KKK. He read the eulogy at his funeral. Okay. Nobody threw stones at him. Donald Trump, how many people have Donald Trump fucking ran his mouth about and said horrible things? You know what I mean?
Doesn't mean that they're the the Nazi flag or the KKK, colors and shit.
It's ridiculous, man. We should live and let live. And if you don't want to celebrate the guy's legacy and stuff like that, that's fine. That's totally within your right. But to speak ill will and to just be hurtful and say things that are just so, like, to threaten somebody's life over it, that they're appreciating the man's legacy. Come on. Come on. Let's get back to common sense here, people.
Well, then you had the people that have been shitting on him for years, like the Mark Henrys coming out and doing
the delegation.
The delegation there, doing his tribute to him the other day. And
don't forget Booker T. He's next on my interview.
Yeah,
and said what he said, and Hulk Hogan saved his job. So I just want to put that out.
And then Booker came out with it after he shit on Hogan a million times after. Booker came out the other day. Oh, I don't know if there'd be a Harlem Heat if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. But you didn't have a problem crapping on him for that long, right? You didn't have a problem shitting on him every opportunity you got, dude.
Yeah. And Tony fucking Khan doing what he did and all this stuff. Then they put this cheesy ass shit out on their B League show, by the way. Tony Schiavone comes out and says, oh, we respect Hulk Hogan, all this shit. No, you don't. That was garbage.
No racist jokes in the comments. I know we're talking about it, but we're going to leave them be. No, we're not doing that. We're just making a point. So We're just making a point that we're all human. That's all.
Right.
Doesn't mean we're going to do it here. Okay. None of it.
Hey, listen, man, I love black people. I love Mexicans. I don't care who you are. You all are welcome to our show. This is a safe space for you. No death threats, none of that garbage. And we don't participate in politics. Johnny and I have been victims of that in our own friendship.
Sure.
We had a falling out over stupid ass shit, over people that don't even know our fucking name.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it here. We're not going to do it.
We live and we learn and we grow as people, you know, and we all make mistakes, man. That's the thing about life. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting to, to kind of see people's reactions afterwards, especially people that just dogpiled on him. And I know how upset it made you, because you were like texting me. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday with it. You were fuming.
Dude, that's the lowest of the low. When somebody passes away, they got families, man. They got families. They've got kids that they've influenced. That kid Ro is so heartbroken that Hulk Hogan would do videos with and stuff like that. With that kid,
Ro knows or whatever.
Yeah, so heartbroken. Wrote the most beautiful letter to Hulk Hogan, appreciating everything he's done for him. Listen, man, Hulk Hogan, before John Cena, Hulk Hogan was granting more wishes than he was. John Cena wasn't even around during that time, and Hulk Hogan held the record. And, Hulk Hogan did a lot of things that weren't spoken about. He donated to the prosthetic fund for veterans and stuff like that. And, helped with the homeless families, all kinds of stuff in his area that Hulk Hogan did that wasn't spoken of. So if you want to sit there and focus on all the bad things he did in his life, make sure you mention the good ones too. Because I guarantee you the good ones outweigh the bad. And
the good ones are never sexy enough for people to actually talk about that much, because it's not as sexy and you don't get as many clicks.
Not a damn one of us are perfect. Not a damn one of us. And you know what? I'm not saying that Hulk Hogan was perfect. I'm not saying you should brown nose him all day long. But you know what? He definitely made his mistakes, but he got saved in the end, man. And he did the right thing.
Yep. Well, I think it's going to be a loss, like we talked about Friday, that's going to hit people for a long, long time to come.
Yep.
Still, it's still a surreal moment and everything like that to kind of see that he's not on this earth anymore. But
yeah,
it is what it is, Let's see. Jude says, I love black, I love whites, I love Mexicans, I especially love vegetables. It's kind of hard to get them out of the wheelchairs sometimes, but once you do, they're great.
Right on, Jude.
All right, man.
welcome.
Hulk Hogan definitely lived up to his Hulkamania name with his work with charity. He sure did. He did a lot of stuff for charity over time.
And a lot of it wasn't spoken of. I did a lot of research. There was a lot of that was spoken, but there was a lot of stuff that he didn't announce to everybody that he did. Mm-hmm. And that stuff was even more beautiful. So
SummerSlam's coming up. Do you have any interest in SummerSlam?
I got to be honest with you. The Jelly Roll stuff I'm not too interested in. I hope it goes over great. I always want to see Randy Orton in great programs, because I feel like we have more days behind us with him than we do in front of us, unfortunately. So I want to see Randy Orton's program do good. Other than that, man, SummerSlam is kind of a stinker right now.
It looks like Drew McIntyre is going to be out of the match now with Jelly Roll.
Stuck? He's stuck somewhere.
He's stuck in England.
So who are they replacing him with?
I don't know. I wonder. The Miz was angling for it, which, as much as I've liked the Miz through the years, please no.
Yeah, no shit. And you are a huge fan of the Miz.
I've always been a supporter of him. Just, it's over, Yeah. Go be a manager. He'd be a great manager.
He'd be a great manager.
He'd be a great manager. He'd be a great announcer. Something else. I really want to. I really have loved his career, and I think he's been very underappreciated. He gave a great promo about being underappreciated, and he's like, "I'm sick and tired of being underappreciated." He's like, "I want my fucking opportunity," and he says, "I want to take his spot." Which, no offense to him, at this point, he's lost so many matches. Like, do you really want to see him in some high-profile match? Like, he's going to be some big name for Logan Paul to take on Jelly Roll and Orton with,
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to make this a marquee moment because you're trying to, go off of Jelly Roll's fame, but I don't think anybody gives a fuck.
No.
I don't.
No.
So, Jeremy says SummerSlam is going to be great. I don't know. I haven't seen it, man. It's not doing it for me.
It's not doing it for me either.
We're finally going to get Punk as a champ this weekend. Do you think Punk is going to beat Gunther? Who thinks he's going to win?
I don't think he's going to beat Gunther. I think CM Punk's at a status now where he doesn't need the title. I think he's at Roddy Piper status where he doesn't need the belt. It'd be great to see him with it. There'd be a lot of merchandise, side plates, belts, all kinds of stuff that'd be made if he did win it. But I think Punk's days as the guy are behind him. I think he's trying to be an enhancement talent.
Yeah. We'll get to the new WWE show, Unreal, in a minute, Lawrence. We'll get it there in just a minute. I think Punk's going to win the belt this time. I think they're going to give him a run with the belt, and I agree with Jeremy that I think that Cody and Cena might be doing the double turn on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I
Do you
think
think he does it in honor of Hogan?
Cody.
Yeah.
He's a huge Hulkamaniac, so I can kind of see him doing it.
Yeah.
I think he kind of needs to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I know he's a monsterly over babyface and all, and they've done the whole Cena thing, but he's really good as a heel too.
Yeah.
And
Cody Rhodes is better as a heel.
I think he is all day long too.
Go back and watch the Dashing Rhodes or something like that, where he was wearing the paper bag and stuff. That shit was cool, man. I thought Cody Rhodes did a great job. Yeah. Stardust, I thought it was great.
Goofy as hell, but he did the best he could with it.
The American Nightmare gimmick in New Japan when he was a heel was amazing. His New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff was amazing. Best stuff he's done in his career.
I was surprised when he was in AEW in the beginning that he didn't go as a heel, because he had always been on the indies as a heel pretty much, anywhere he went when he was doing it. I know people were happy to see him, but when he was doing like Ring of Honor and the stuff in Japan and the Bullet Club, he was primarily a heel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, TNA, he was primarily a heel, if I remember, when he was in TNA. So
yeah, he was, and the NWA Championship when he won that, he was a heel as well.
Yeah, I mean, he had that feud with Aldis, who was the over babyface over there. I mean, Come on. I mean, like, I don't know why that right off the bat. Like, did they think that they couldn't get him booed, like in AEW, like in the beginning? Like, he never went with that heel run over there.
Yeah, I know. I think they need to pull the trigger now. Now's the time. They already finished the story and stuff like that. So let's make Cody Rhodes. I would like to see them finish what they had started with The Rock. They drew me in with that. The Rock made wrestling cool again. We were saying that back then when he first came back. Great storyline, you could tell, where Cody Rhodes gets corrupted by the title, sells out to The Rock, make him the corporate champion. It's a beautiful storyline. Why wouldn't you pull the trigger now?
I think it's ready. I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
You think they're afraid of merch sales going down?
I do. I think probably merch money and sales and things like that typically get, people from the bottom line. But let's be honest, too, this isn't 1985 anymore. People will buy merch for heels, too. How many people go out and rock out their heel merch, when they're going to thing? Well, I mean, honestly,
NWO was the biggest heel faction in the world, and still
most of my wrestling shirts that I have are from heels. To be honest with you, for a guy like me, that's primarily what I enjoy, and I think a lot of people would agree, with that same sentiment, that a lot of people enjoy heels too. So just because you're a heel doesn't mean you're not going to sell money too. I mean, but Cody's babyface stuff, I think they might think it's, going to be too crushing to the fans if he, the kids, especially if he goes heel. The Cena stuff has not worked for me from the start. I know you like a lot of it. It hasn't worked for me from the start. I don't like it. I want to see him go out as the underdog. I want to see him go out and try to fight everybody. And I want to see The Rock. I want to see The Rock and Cody turn on him. I want to see them beat the fucking shit out of him and abuse him and take him out. And I want to see him come back as Super Cena one last time.
I want to see it go down like this. I want to see them beat him up before his final appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So bad that they
don't think he's going to come.
John Cena may not come to his last show.
Yep.
You guys have seen the loss of John Cena. That's it. The show is over. You can't see him,
Mm-hmm.
And then that last show comes and you get Super Cena back for one time.
I don't know how many more matches does he have for those people who watch, how many more people, how many more matches have they been, or appearances or whatever that they've been saying that he's got, because I like that idea too. Take him out at SummerSlam, just destroy him with The Rock and Cody and whatever the fuck you're going to do. Dump this stupid faction with Heyman and Breaker and Reed and all that. Get rid of that shit.
Is Rollins legitimately injured?
That's the thing. I probably isn't. He's probably, let's be realistic. What's probably going to happen this weekend? Okay, here's my magic 8-ball prediction, for that one, and then we'll come back to the other side of things with Cena. Fucking Punk is going to win the title. he's going to win the title from Gunther, and then Rollins is going to cash in and cost him his title.
I mean, that would be a good thing. I think I would enjoy it.
That's my crystal ball prediction for that. That's going to happen, but who knows?
Because I want to see Rollins win it, and then Rollins just get crushed.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got more appearances than the one match, Rabbi. So for Cena, I go with like what we were just both agreeing that he's got less than 18 appearances. Okay, so you can really span that out in the end of it. Get all of your use out of him at the end. Destroy him.
It's a shame that we're not seeing Kurt Angle in this farewell tour.
I know. Like you gotta see Cena and Punk team up one last time too.
As a tag team?
I think something with Survivor Series that you're going to see them do.
Oh, you mean them going against each other?
No, that you're going to see Cena and Punk on the same side at one
on the same team.
On the same team, and I think that it's going to end up leading out to Punk's final match. It's going to be against Cena. That's where I think it goes. Shit. I think they're going to team up one last time. They're going to try to work some angle in for Survivor Series, and they're going to take Cena out. Probably Cody goes with him, and here we go. They're going to keep Cena out for a good 2-3 months, and then bring him back a few months before Survivor Series. Let these guys take everybody out.
Could be. You never know.
How great would it be too? Think about this type of faction as well. All right, dump this silly shit with just Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. How monster of a faction would be, and I know that this is different shows, but who gives a shit? You can do whatever you want. How monster it would be for this faction if The Rock comes back, costs Cena the match, and then Rollins costs Punk the match, and you get a Rollins and Cody Rhodes.
Double heel turn.
Yeah, paired up together with Paul Heyman and The Rock and Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. You got a faction there.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
hold both the world titles then.
I never wanted to see Braun Breaker in this situation. I feel like he's getting lost in the shuffle, and he just looks goofy as shit now. I've never liked Bronson Reed. I think the world of Braun Breaker. I think Paul Heyman should be in the corner of the person he's actually been sponsoring in the back a lot, which is Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black could use a mouthpiece, and I think Paul Heyman would be the guy for it.
But here's what you can do with Braun Breaker, even if you keep him with a monster faction like that. You're going to say he's going to get lost in the shuffle, being with Rollins and Rhodes and The Rock and Heyman and all them. Fuck no, man. You can develop this guy as the one to take these guys out at the end. Okay?
Yeah, like the Batista of the Evolution story.
Just like
we've seen it already.
Yeah, we have, but you can do it a different way.
That's true.
You can find different ways to make this fun. And he's so young, you just made a young monster star,
True.
Like, he's not meant to be somebody's lackey.
That's my point. I didn't want to see that.
And it's not going to be for long. He's not designed to be in that role. Listen, Bronson Reed, that dude is meant to be somebody's lackey. And
that guy's the drizzling shits.
Awful.
He reminds me of the big heavyset dude off of Boy Meets World.
Oh, Frankie Staccone.
That is Bronson Reed in a nutshell, dude.
Oh, he's terrible, bro. I
bet you that guy fucking reads poems.
He's out, at the home night, not clapping. Remember they snap their fingers or whatever.
Yeah,
but there's a lot you can do, man. Like, okay, Jeremy, I like your idea with Dirty Dom here, but listen, Dirty Dom is meant to be here very soon as a babyface. It's gonna happen.
Did you hear the fucking pop he got in AAA? Oh my god!
I know he's a monster.
That was Stone Cold level, dude.
Dude, I know he's a monster fucking heel, but imagine if you get Dirty Dom teaming up with these guys on a different role at one day down the road, maybe a little bit, and helping them out on the final run with Cena and these guys. One last thing. Let's be realistic. He's going to go to be a fucking heel anyways, down the road and just crush people. But you can do a little bit of a babyface run with this kid. He's so over. That was one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in AAA for him. That's
one of the loudest pops I've heard in wrestling. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was Stone Cold HBK Rock level shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's up there with anything, man. Like, that pop was one of the loudest I've ever heard.
And they edited it. The
unedited version is sounds like it blows your speaker out when you see it.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot they can do with this, though, with people they can incorporate in. The ultimate thing about when somebody goes out is to get somebody else over in the end, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot
That's
of
what you're
guys that can
supposed to
get
do.
over from this.
I think John Cena and Dominic Mysterio would be great for him in the last one to make him a star. I think that would be great.
Dom's going to be a champ in the next year or two.
I hope so. I hope they're smart enough to see what they got.
You can't deny what this kid is
I
bringing to the
don't
table.
want him to be put in AAA.
He's not going to be.
Yeah, I keep thinking they're going to make him the AAA champ. That's what they teased with him holding the belt up.
They're gauging him right now.
Yeah.
I know he's been playing this injury shit with Styles or something that I've heard, but they're gauging him right now. What they're doing now is they're looking at worldwide appeal. Okay. They're looking for a worldwide star. Okay. They want somebody big,
He's that dude.
When he's going to other countries, I know he has Latino heritage and all that stuff too, but he's going to get this anywhere he goes in any of the countries, and he's blown the roof off the place. And let's be realistic. Mexico's one of the hardest damn crowds in the world to please because they're such wrestling fans and wrestling nuts.
Right.
Like, they're not an easy one to get a monster, pop like that from. And think about how many people they've seen come through there through the years.
Exactly.
I mean, that kid got a pop like just insane. I can't wait to see what is in store, hopefully, for him. Triple Mania is going to be really good. It looks like this partnership with them and WWE could be some real fun stuff that that they're going to do, I think.
Yeah, I think they're handling AAA very well. Like we all said a couple shows ago, that was one of the best produced AAA shows I've ever seen. So WWE is definitely doing them justice, and I like to see it. I hope Vampiro and Conan and all them guys, I hope the lineage and the legacy of AAA still stays in it enough that they keep going with that stuff.
You think they're ever going to bring Vampiro on TV for WWE one day?
It's a possibility. You have to remember the Michael Jordan and, the Karl Malone of that era was Conan and Vampiro. I mean, Vampiro is arguably the biggest Mexican lucha libre star of all time next to Conan. Conan has ties to everybody. Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, all these guys. Conan has helped bring up Psychosis, everybody that went through AAA. So you have to mention these guys at some point,
I mean, they've had some massive stars down there through the years in their neck of the woods. I mean, I'm not going to lie and tell you I'm well versed in all of them, or I've watched it all. I haven't, because we've never got the programming. It's only what I've seen, through the years. But I mean, you have people like the likes of like Mil Mascaris down there. I think it's like Blue Demon is
Blue
another
Demon
one.
Jr.
Yeah, all these guys, man, like that have made a huge mark. But I don't think anybody's made as much of a mark as Conan and Vampiro. So
they haven't.
It's
Their
interesting.
feud is something that is just legendary down there. I mean, that stuff was like, God, what do you compare it to? It's like Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. It enacted that kind of emotion between those two down there.
I can't see a world with if you're owning AAA that you don't bring a Vampiro in there again at some point. You really do.
Do a AAA wing of the Hall of Fame. That would be a great way to tie it in.
I don't like the guy, but I admit, reality of the appeal that he had. And I wonder what it is about him that has made him that they've never touched him in his career.
They never touched Vampiro because of his reputation. He no-showed a lot of people. He was always the boat rocker behind the scenes. He was always the drama starter. After a while, when you have so many problems with somebody in life, like, you have to look in the mirror and realize
they're the problem.
Yeah. And Vampiro is that guy. Yeah. Like, we've gotten firsthand knowledge of that by talking to him. Vampiro is that fucking guy. He will start drama with any fucking buddy.
He doesn't stay anywhere long.
No, he doesn't. He's a free spirit. You got to admit that about Ian Hodgkinson. I can't even say his fucking name ever. Hodgkinson. Thank you. You got to say that about him. He's a free spirit.
He definitely is. I think you will see him eventually on the program.
You will.
Yeah,
he's too big of a star to not mention him.
You can't own that company and not have one of the greatest ever, for that company come in. You just can't.
Sure.
Like, it's inevitable that it's going to happen. If Dom goes down there, though, it ain't going to be for long. He's coming down to have a little fun and do a little something. They're gauging this kid right now, guys. That's what they're doing. It's going to be an interesting show.
Should. as they should.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not going to see it or anything like that. But it's one of those ones that I'll probably go back and check out later on because I love Lucha Libre style wrestling. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the atmosphere is fucking fantastic. I would love to go to like a show in Mexico City, and go check that out. So, yeah, I saw that about Del Rio losing last week. Do you think that's to bring Del Rio back, or do you think that's to get rid of him for good?
I think that's to get rid of. Del Rio's another one, problems fucking galore. Like you just, unfortunately, you can't touch him with a 40-foot pole with the exposure that he's had. That guy's had shit exposure and been involved in so many problems with Paige and everybody else in the past. So yeah, Del Rio.
Didn't he take like his ex-girlfriend after Paige out in the middle of the street with a gun or something and point it to her?
Yeah, dude.
In front of her child or something?
Methamphetamine is a hell of a fucking drug, dude.
Oh my Lord.
And if you look at the pictures, I'm not trying to make accusations. We've had his manager on the show and stuff like that.
And Ricardo loved him, man.
He loved him. He still loves him as a person. Yeah. I mean,
Ricardo's a classy dude, though, man.
That was one of my favorite interviews we've ever done.
He's a good guy.
Dude, he's so cool. I hope we have him on the show again sometime down the road.
He's doing great stuff for his career, man. I'm really happy to see him. He just
got mental health.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of great stuff with his school. It's nice to see. I mean, he put him over. A lot of people say he's a decent guy, and I mean, I don't know him, so I can't make that assumption. But from what I've seen in the news, he doesn't seem like a real good guy.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like when you've made so many, bad decisions and stuff, like at some point it's not anybody else.
Exactly.
It's you. So, and I got your text too, and I definitely. Yeah. Trust me, I know.
So yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, I know on that one. Anyway. But yeah, man, it's an interesting dynamic to see what's going to go on there. I think I don't think they can touch him with a 10-foot pole, but
no.
Maybe they do believe in second chances with him. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Would you? What's the upside?
You can't. What's the upside? There's too much to risk. It sucks for Alberto, right? Because I mean, he was on the top of their card, and now where does he go? And he can't. There's not many places to go that WWE doesn't have a relationship. So
he got pounded out by Tito Ortiz. He ain't going back to MMA, and he's too old to rant.
Not only did he get pounded out by him, he got annihilated by him, dude, in like record time too. I mean, that was embarrassing.
Didn't he beat him in like a minute and a half or something?
Yeah,
like that?
And he didn't get all the money he was promised by that fucking asshole. Who's that boxer?
De La Hoya.
De La Hoya and Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He promised a bunch of money and never saw it. So
Oscar. De La Hoya didn't pay somebody. Come on, bro.
Cocaine ain't cheap, man.
Yeah, cocaine ain't cheap. That's a notorious. Dana White. When he ripped, have you ever listened to the Dana White like clips?
Fuck yeah, that's where I got that, dude.
There's like for anybody that ever wants to go just listen to something hilarious and you want to hear about Oscar De La Hoya and Dana White hates him with a passion. Just he will take any opportunity he can get. If somebody gives it to him, he's not going to come out and do it. But if somebody gives it to him, he's going to take every opportunity he can get and he's going to fucking shred Oscar De La Hoya because he loves to.
Yeah.
And he's got all the ins on him. He's got all the deets. He's got everything, man. He's got everything possible. Go listen on YouTube. Just type in Dana White rips, Oscar De La Hoya. And there's like so many of these like 30 or 40 minute compilations of just random clips where he just gives the best promo in the world on De La Hoya.
Yeah, and he gives no fucks when it comes to that guy.
He calls him a cokehead right out in front of everybody. Cocaine's a crazy drug.
He starts reading out the money that he's giving out and shit like that, and it's crazy.
He knows
their rivalry's bad.
He knows all of his dirt too.
Yeah, he does. He does. Well, Dana White is more involved in the boxing world than he is in the MMA. That's how he came up. If that gives you any, So yeah.
De La Hoya, what a clown, dude.
We shouldn't even waste time talking about that ass.
No, it's funny. It's funny to shoot the shit about it a little bit. Your boy Conor McGregor was in the news today.
It's getting harder and harder to be his fan, man. I'm glad he's trying to go to court and debunk everything that happened with that girl and stuff. And
it's not happening.
It's not happening. He's got a fucking mohawk now, and he's coked out of his mind. Every fucking event that he goes to for BKFC, he's just
Well, his latest bender this morning was he was going off about immigrants and Pakistani people in this country and decided to this gentleman who apparently was a good, outstanding citizen for 30 some odd years there had a weak moment and got in an altercation with somebody and attacked him. And there was some serious injuries, apparently. I don't know.
Which Connor is no innocent angel.
Well, that comes to my point right here. Like, so Connor goes on this tirade about immigration and deporting this man who had the assault charge against him, and about how if he gets to be president, he's going to get rid of violent people in this country and violent immigrants, and that they should deport this man's wife and family that came over with him to his country. And when I saw it this morning, I don't use social media much, and somebody sent me the link to it, and it was on Twitter, and you can still look at the Twitter stuff without having an account. So I scrolled down the thing, and I'm reading the comments from people on this guy, and it was it was unbearable to see the things people were saying to him. They were unhinged on him. And then all I could think of,
because Prime.
What, buddy?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. I said all I could think of when I saw this guy is like, this guy's criticizing somebody else who attacked somebody. Didn't this guy get arrested like 3 times for punching people? Didn't he just recently punch some dude in the face in the club? And didn't this dude just lose a civil lawsuit?
But essaying people and
sexually abusing people, raped a girl. And this wasn't the first instance either of people that have accused him of this and raping them. And there's concrete proof of it. Basically, he's got off the hook. What is going, dude? Is this guy the biggest sham in the world now? And you were a huge fan. You used to be, like this guy is something else.
It's hard because the Conor McGregor that I was a huge fan of was, the kind of guy that would say things like, partying is toxic for the soul. Don't eat at a table with anybody you wouldn't starve with. There is nobody from his original camp that's around him anymore besides John Kavanaugh. That's the only original guy that he came up with. So unfortunately, he's lost his way, and I think a lot of it's to do with you're the company that you keep. And when he got ties to the Kinahan cartel in Ireland, you saw the downfall of Conor McGregor. That's the cocaine source that he has,
Didn't he get booted out of his own company when he sold it and had a stock in it or something? Didn't they get rid of him for Proper 12 too?
So when he sold that, he made a deal. It was $600 million, in which he got 120 of it, right? Of that deal. He got the 100 million for the Floyd Mayweather fight. I think he was paid 32 to 35 million for his last fight in the UFC, about 15 million for the movie that he did. So he's got
to do that Roadhouse too.
Yeah. It was one of the highest debuts in Hollywood.
It was a good movie though.
Wasn't bad.
I liked it.
The problem is when you see the interviews that he's doing and he's twitching and doing this shit and stuff like that, it's totally a resemblance of somebody that's going through withdrawals, unfortunately.
There was more pictures of him too, with other girls recently too, especially after his wife, or is it his wife or his girlfriend?
His fiance, Devlin, what a saint she is.
Jesus, she stood by him. I don't think she's standing by him for any reason other than the cheese and the bread, man. But
he's man, he doesn't have anybody. His camp around him is a bunch of assholes, because if anyone cared about that guy, they'd be telling him, hey, dude, you need to get some fucking help, and he does. And that's hard for me to say because I was a huge McGregor fan. I respect women, a lot. And so when I heard that he was accused of rape, I waited until he was convicted, and then I made my judgment that I can't support that. So
he hasn't been the same since it wasn't just losing. It was since the fame really took over for him. I think after the Mayweather fight was kind of it for him.
You could do a whole episode on the rise and fall of Conor McGregor too. I mean,
yeah, one day we might have to do that for sure. Yeah. It's like he stopped taking it seriously. When Nate Diaz choked him out the first time, I loved it.
That was awesome. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. I'll never forget that night.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was great.
I was in the ICU actually in the hospital when I watched it.
That's how you watch that shit?
Yeah,
you must have been fucking.
I was sitting there laid back in my hospital bed, just like, fuck.
Did you have some good meds at least?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, you didn't get some good
down
meds.
My fucking throat. Yeah, it was bad, dude. I was just like, really?
The original Roadhouse movie, Laza, is a guilty pleasure of mine all day.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy. I love it. You
Yeah.
know, Dalton is the cooler. You know,
Yeah.
that's what you call me. I'm the cooler. And
The
then
new
like
one's good too. It did it
it
justice.
was
I gotta say.
like the original one's like this guy's about a traveling bouncer, and he's like $5,000 a week cash. You know, cash money
Right.
and 10% of the thing. Who fucking pays that for a bouncer? Okay.
Right. It'll never happen.
Yeah. Who's paying $5,000 a week for a fucking bouncer? All
Right.
right. Give me a break. Yeah, Terry Funk was in it too.
Yeah.
He was the one that he was fighting in the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
That's a classic movie, the original
Classic
Roadhouse.
movie. Yeah.
What did they have? Chris Christopherson, and then I think it was, or Sam Elliott, or somebody that played his, you know.
I think it was Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I think it was Sam Elliott, or it was Sam Elliott or Chris Christopherson. I can't remember, that played his bouncing mentor.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Who came into
That was a
town.
great movie, dude.
Those are the original fun ones, man.
Right.
Those are the original fun ones. All right. Any other new topics that I missed that you want to hit on?
No, I think we touched them all, man. The most important one, yeah, I wanted to talk about that Chelsea Green stuff. That was horrible. So yeah, I think we're good to get in our main topic for the night, dude.
Woo! Let's get into the nature boy, Ric Flair. Yeah. I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Ric Flair, you've been a huge Ric Flair fan at any point in your life, not just now, obviously, but
ever.
Was there any time in your life as a wrestling fan that you were like, Nature Boy is one of my top 10?
Never. To me, Ric Flair, I respect his accomplishments tremendously. I respect everything he's done. It is Sam Elliott. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was Sam Elliott or Chris Christopherson in there in the original, but Sam Elliott. Thanks, guys. Ric Flair, though. You know, I've never been a Ric Flair guy. I mean, listen, I started watching WCW in like 91-ish. And I remember when I first really started getting into it. And it was Great American Bash. I'd like to say, I think it was 91-ish. And I think it was Lex Luger and Barry Windham in the main event. And Rick had left there. So I think it was 91. And Rick had left there. And I had gone over to a pay-per-view at a friend's house. And that was my first real time getting to really, really watch and sit down and watch a WCW show, like in full. We had it on the Superstation on TBS, but I never really watched it. And I watched the Great American Bash, and that is not a very good Great American Bash in the history of it. And it's not a really good main event, but I loved Stinger, and I was hooked on it. So I started watching WCW after that and getting hooked on it. So Flair wasn't there, but I had read all the magazines when I was a young kid too, because magazines were big for everybody that remembers this at the time. And, you know, you'd read about Ric Flair. What if Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan ever matched up together and fought each other? And I was a Hogan guy, and everybody, you know, in part of the magazines would say that Flair was the greatest. And as a kid, I always thought Hogan was the greatest. So I didn't like him. Then he came over to WWF, and we all thought we were going to get that big Hogan Flair payoff. And I finally was going to get a chance to see him a little bit, and it just didn't happen. But I did like his work with Macho Man. And I did like his work with Bret a little bit, and I liked a few of his feuds that he was doing, but I was never into him. To me, to make a long story longer on this, Ric Flair, if you've seen one Ric match and you've heard one Ric promo, they're pretty much all the same, you know? And he always bored me for the most part. I thought he was boring. I was never a Horseman guy. What about you?
Ric Flair, to me, you know, there was times in my life, like when I started watching WCW, obviously it was like 95, 96, I would say. You know, I was an NWO kid, man. I loved the NWO. I thought Hollywood Hogan was the coolest. Scott Hall was my guy. You know, that he got me into wrestling. That's what made me fall into wrestling was Scott Hall, man. Kevin Nash was amazing and stuff like that. Ric Flair was made to look like such a jabroni to me when I was a child. You know, when Six did that promo where he's sitting there crying and stuff like that. And
squirting with the tears.
Yeah, dude. And so Ric Flair to me was always the, like, you know, he just was second shelf to me, man. He wasn't special. I never got to see the wonder years of Ric Flair, you know, being the NWA traveling champion and all of his golden years and stuff like that. The only time I liked Ric Flair, my favorite storyline was him versus Vince McMahon when they had 50-50 ownership of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. I loved when he was in the Evolution faction and stuff like that. And it was great to watch him with the Four Horsemen WCW rendition with Dean Malenko and all those guys, and all those guys, and Mongo. Um, so Ric Flair's never been one of my favorites either. You have to acknowledge his contributions to the business. You have to acknowledge all these wrestlers looked up to him a lot more in a lot of ways than Hollywood Hogan. He's mentioned a lot more by the likes of, Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these guys, Triple H. They all emulated his style. You see a lot of Triple H's movesets. The Indian Deathlock that he does is really similar to the Figure Four, the Flying Knee, all those different things. You can see those moves being emulated from Ric Flair, and so when I look at it, you can see the contributions he's made to a lot of the legends and stuff like that. I never saw it myself. I never understood, because he wrestled the same match over and over again. If you've seen a Ric Flair match, you've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watched a Ric Flair match, it's the same match if he was going against Undertaker as if he was going against somebody else younger, Harley Race, Ricky Steamboat, all those guys. It's the same match, same moveset, same match, same everything, So he never kept me entertained. And I mean, his promos did. I watched Ric Flair for the pro. I guess that's what I'm trying to wrap this up. Ric Flair was great for his promos and average for his wrestling to me.
Later on in WCW, I found his promos to be dreadful. It was every week they would bring him out on Nitro with Mean Gene, and he'd come out with the Horsemen at the time and all that shit. And it was the same promo every week. It was the same silly shit. And he had become a parody at that point to me of himself a little bit. And I love a lot. I'll say this. I do love eras of his work and some of the things that he did. I thought some of his most underrated work was with Vader. And, I think it was 93, he did some really good work with Vader in that storyline. I thought it was really good. He had great storylines to me. But it's like you said, no matter who I've seen him with through the years, whether it was Steamboat, whether it was Dusty, whether it was Terry Funk, whether it was Hogan, whether it was with Macho, no matter who it was that he was with, like we both said, you got the same thing every time. And it was going to be a good match.
He would always do the spot where he'd go off the top with the axe handle and
over.
Get thrown off. You do the back body drop where he lands on his hip. I mean, it just, every match is the same. You can pick out the parts and the spots that he does. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I never saw the allure to it, that with him that other people did. It's realistic, it's realistic to say that at that time, and this is before the internet and stuff, when I was growing up, that the reality was a lot of people were Hogan guys or Flair guys because it really depended upon where you lived and what you saw. If Rick was your guy that you had seen in those areas for years, then, you were kind of a Ric Flair guy if you were a WCW, NWA territory. I heard an interview with Rick over the weekend, and he was laughing. He was talking about Hulk Hogan. And Rick is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, originally with his family. And he had said that when he was making it big in the NWA in the late 70s, like 79-ish, I think it was, 79, 80. Mm-hmm. And he was, a massive star in this other side of the country, that he had come home to Minneapolis to see his family. And his family said, everybody knows this Hulk Hogan guy, but they don't know who you are, right. Because he wasn't on their TV. He wasn't they weren't seeing him across the world. It showed you the appeal that Hogan had in the WWF at that time and behind that machine. Flair just didn't have it. And to me, Flair, like that guy had mentioned earlier, he was the opposite of Hogan. Hogan was the ultimate white meat babyface until he changed later. Yep. Rick was always the dirty heel, and the Four Horsemen were tearing everybody up, and Rick was the champ all those times. I just never got into it. It just wasn't me. I was never a big Horseman fan. Were you?
No, I was.
Yes, but
I fucking love Arn Anderson. But that's the extent of that, like Arn Anderson's like the uncle in the room. Like when he's telling a story, everybody fucking listens, like everybody respects the guy and stuff. I love Arn Anderson. He was my guilty pleasure with the Four Horsemen.
Double A, man.
I loved Arn Anderson. I loved Benoit. Say what you will if you hate me for it, whatever. I loved Chris Benoit. I loved Mongo. I never really cared for Ric Flair that much.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he should have walked away from the Horsemen?
Like, even I wanted to mention this too real quick because it just came in my head. I never understood the comparison as Ric Flair's a cowboy either. All the other guys you could draw a comparison. Kurt Hennig, Lex Luger, all those guys you could see in cowboy boots and Western wear and stuff like that being their attire. I could never see Ric Flair wearing that shit.
No, you can only see him in the Rolexes and the big,
Yeah.
Armani suits
Yeah.
and walking around with the alligator shoes on and,
Right.
the $1,000 sunglasses that he's got with diamonds on them.
Yeah.
That was the cool part about Ric Flair to me, was that he lived that, and he didn't just portray it on television. He legit lived that lifestyle. And I think that's one of the amazing things about Ric Flair, and that he's still around to this day.
Yeah.
This guy's never quit partying, man. He loved this business more. But let's be realistic. When you talk about passion for this business, very few people have, and that you'll ever hear about in wrestling, have as much passion for wrestling as Ric Flair does. Let's give the man his flowers. He loved that lifestyle, and he loved that business, and he loved what he did. But I think most of all, Rick loved the fame and the attention that it brought, and the ladies and the booze and the good times. And Rick could just never stop with it. But that was the cool thing about Ric Flair. When you saw him talking about all these things that, that he had, the limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, riding Space Mountain, you go down the list of all the one-liners that he would throw through the years. Yeah. Let's be realistic. Rick was actually fucking doing it,
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't just living a gimmick, man,
It was
the gimmick.
And he'll even, in the shoot videos, if you go out and watch his interviews and stuff like that, he doesn't even remember who he is as a person, where the gimmick ends with him, and where the character stops, and where Richard Flair begins. I mean, he doesn't know who that person is anymore.
And like you said, reality so much.
His reality is so twisted because he doesn't know who he is anymore. With the women, the booze, everything, he's just lost touch with reality. And so much so did he dedicate his life that it cost him his family.
Yeah.
Or his daughter has been estranged to him. His son, Ric Flair, unfortunately passed away, drug addiction, substance abuse, and followed suit with his dad. I mean, he went the same route that Ric Flair was going, and God knows where Reed would be today if he was still alive. He may be on WWE programming had he stuck with it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. His other son, David, right? David Flair.
Yeah, David.
That stuff, man. They did him so dirty in WCW with that gimmick, making him look like a lunatic fringe with,
He got no training. He got no seasoning. He had no opportunity to succeed.
He was thrown to the wolves, man. I mean, that was terrible.
Awful, right?
Yeah, awful. That was the downfall of the Flairs in WCW. Was
how could you not have felt bad for that kid? Like, I'm sure he was making a decent salary and all that shit, whatever. But it was always sad to see kind of for that kid that he never got a real fair opportunity. He never got a real fair shot. I mean, you could go down the list. There's a million feuds, like you guys are mentioning, that he has had or could have had.
Flair versus the Great Muta. If you guys haven't seen that stuff, Great Muta is a guilty pleasure of mine, dude. Go watch Ric Flair versus the Great Muta. Those are some great.
A lot of Clash of Champions. I think some Super Brawls. Some of the earlier Super Brawls. I think that you're looking at them was maybe 87 to 90 time frame between those two.
Yep.
I think there was a match with Muta and Sting and Muta and Flair or something like that. A Capital Punishment, I think was another one. There's a lot of good feuds for them. They did have a fair share of matches with him and Lex. Lex was the one that was kind of every time one of the guys would get to be a bigger star was when Rick kind of would boot him out of the Horsemen at that point. So they had kind of done an angle with that with Luger and Sting. So, Luger has said that through the years too, that Rick was a big pivotal piece in his learning in the business, amongst
How did you feel about the program that he did with Bret Hart in WCW?
In WCW?
Yeah.
I don't even remember it anymore.
When Bret Hart was brought in after the Montreal Screwjob, and then he was the referee, and then the first match, the first feud that Bret had was Ric Flair.
With Rick. Okay.
Do you remember that match?
I remember that maybe they did something, but to be honest with you, it's so forgettable to me with that stuff. I just don't even. I can't even remember it anymore because it's just so forgettable to me at that era.
On paper, you would think that would have been such a banger, dude.
It would have, but Rick had been so watered down in WCW. He'd been beaten down by the NWO so many times, and he was having so many personal problems at that point. He was such a shell of himself on TV, and he admitted it at many points of his career when he was. He was such a shell of himself on TV that you would think another marquee matchup like that with Bret Hart again, and they had some good matches in WWF, that you would think it would resonate with people that they remember. But here I am, a 40 year wrestling fan nearly, and I don't fucking remember it because it was such a forgettable era for both of them in their career too.
Do you think his WCW career was sabotaged by a lot of the guys in the back in the NWO and
No.
stuff like that, Eric Bischoff, or do you think Ric Flair self-sabotaged
I
himself?
think he self-sabotaged it. Ric Flair is like you were talking about earlier with people who always have the victim syndrome. Ric Flair is always the victim in everything that he does in life and everything that happens to him. He's always the victim in everything, and it's always somebody else's problem. It's always somebody else that did something to him, from what it seems. And it's annoying to me with Rick, and it's probably why I don't like him that much as a character through the years, and it's somebody that I never got into, because those are the people that I don't want to see in my life and be around. I don't want to be around a half stepper or somebody that blames everybody all the time. And I know you're the same type of person. I want to be around with good, decent, positive people that care about others. And I'm not saying Rick doesn't, but Rick cares more about himself than anybody. You haven't been married that many times and had that many breakups with friendships through the years. And think about how many fights he's had with so many of his friends too through recent years.
Even Triple H. I mean, they don't even speak anymore.
Arn. Like, he's not even buddies with Arn anymore. It hasn't been for a long time.
That's insane for him and Arn Anderson to not be friends after everything like that. Like,
it's a telling sign of who he is as a person, and I'm sure he's very generous, as he's illustrated through the years with partying like crazy.
But the generosity from Ric Flair is this: it's stupidity, and it's like the guy at the bar that just wants to buy everybody's drinks and shit like that. That's the extent of his generosity.
It's like he wants everybody to be
Ric Flair doing the Make-A-Wish Foundation or anything like that. I don't think I've ever heard stories of Ric Flair doing stuff.
Ric Flair ain't doing shit for free either.
No,
he's gonna come out there.
Not. I've met Ric Flair before. That shit is ridiculously expensive. And boy, will I tell you when I say this, when you go up to walk up to get a photo op with him, you better be ready to get that shit done and get the fuck out, because they push you out quick.
Was he nice when you met him?
Yeah, it was this, dude. It was, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's Rich. Personalize the fucking autograph. Okay, take a picture, put your arm around him. You know what he reminds me of, dude? Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, that's
the smile the picture with the kids,
That's the experience you get with Ric Flair.
Yeah, I can see that.
Straight up, dude.
And it's funny because you hear him talk through the years about how much the fans have meant to them and their careers and what they've done and how they wouldn't be anywhere with them. Ric Flair ain't going to be giving out fucking free autographs to people and signings. No. And he's probably going to do a little bit for people if you see him in a bar. But all the videos I've ever seen with him in the bar is if somebody goes up to him, he's a dick to them and says, "Leave me alone." No. Type of person. And I'm not begrudging him for that. It's his choice.
Especially lately.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because Ric Flair got the story ending finish in his career.
And he fucked it up so many times.
You could not write a better send-off to his career and stamp that thing with such a great match and a great moment with one of his best friends. The "I'm sorry, I love you" sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels. Great send-off. WWE did a beautiful video package, gave him the whole next night on Raw as a tribute. Everything. The Undertaker came out. It was just great. And then the idiot comes back at how old did he come back? 86 or something? How the fuck old is Ric Flair? I mean, he came back, last year and tried to wrestle a match?
Yeah, like 2 years ago after he had that massive incident in his life where he almost died, He's on blood thinners and all this other crazy stuff, and here he is getting back in the ring. The thing is with a guy like him is, he lives the life that he does because he's so insecure probably with who he is as a person. Can you imagine making the type of money this man has made in his life and to literally be bankrupt so many times and having to borrow money from people and, things that stories he's told, how Vince has helped them or Hulk or other people. Bro, he's made more money in the 80s and the 70s and shit than guys like me and you and pretty much all of us here could ever imagine. Of making a year. Let's be realistic. I hope we all do one day or get to some point where we can make $1 million a year. But this guy was doing it since the 70s and 80s, guaranteed. He's making that type of money, and then he's got nothing to show. Can you imagine making basically for probably 20, 30 years straight of your life, making easily over $1 million every single year, probably at some points of his career, even in the early years, was making millions a year and had sweet cush deals with the WWE where they were paying him Legends contracts just to shut the fuck up, come make appearances when they tell you to here and there. And, they're going to give this guy a paycheck probably every year and making $500,000 a year or whatever the fuck they're giving him, as a sign of respect for him. And they still can't balance it. you know?
Well, and you piss it away, and you make
Yeah.
a fool of yourself. You know, the plane ride from hell.
Yeah.
Ric Flair was on. You know, they did that Dark Side of the Ring episode where he's given a helicopter to the the lady on the airplane. I'm not trying to laugh at that. I think she's traumatized, and it probably affected her very much. But that's Ric Flair. I mean, you know, he it reminds me of Mike Tyson in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Mike Tyson, the king of pay per view, had more money than anybody on the fucking planet, and he pissed it all away. You
Yeah.
know, and until he met his current wife, he didn't get his shit together. Ric
Yeah.
Flair has never had that person come in his life that grounded him to the point where they took control. Ric Flair needs somebody to take control. He would be a great candidate for a conservatorship, straight up.
I don't think anybody can. I don't think anybody is capable of containing him. Do
Yeah.
you?
No.
I don't think there's anybody. Listen, the reality is, you have a wonderful wife, who you and her support each other. I was married for almost 20 years and, had a great, for the majority of my marriage, had a great relationship. And at times it wasn't meant to be. I have a great partner I'm marrying next year.
Well, we've both been through divorce and have gone
Yeah,
through
we've both been through divorce.
late.
Yeah,
Like, it's
we know what it's like, and we're not knocking our ex-wives. We had mistakes made too, like Rick has in his life, and
Rick's had about 12 though.
but
Let's
that's
be fair.
but the thing is, the reason I mention that is that we all go through mistakes, but when you get to a point like at your life, you're 33, right?
34.
34, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be 44 next February. So I'll be 44 next February, 43 now, and I look at life a lot differently now. And I look at my old marriage, I look at some of the mistakes that I made, and I knew I had to have somebody in my life that was going to balance me out in different ways. I'm a very driven person like you are, and nothing in life slows us down. We get our asses kicked, we get back up. But let's be
Especially the
real.
past few years, we've had it kicked pretty bad.
Amen to that. But let's be
know?
realistic too. We're also guys kind of like Rick is, where we're a little impulsive sometimes, and
A
sometimes
lot of impulsive.
yeah, we're a little too carefree sometimes, and how many of you guys can attest to this too that are listening right now?
For sure.
And I'm going to get to all you guys' comments in a minute, but we need somebody to balance us out too. Your wife balances you out on a lot of things. My partner that I'm marrying next year, it's going to be my wife. She balances me out on so much. And you know what? I need that person to help keep me in check on certain things sometimes. Like you need it and like they need it. Rick ain't going to get that with anybody.
Rick's never had it.
It ain't going to.
Never had it.
And I guarantee you some of them probably try too,
Yeah.
He hasn't been married like 4 or 5 fucking times now, 6, whatever it is that he's at, and been in that many things. And a woman has never been able to tame him and help him. You need in a relationship, whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship or a romantic relationship, you got to have somebody in that relationship that balances you out and that can call you on your shit, keep you in line, get you in the right path when you need to get in the right path, rebalance, recenter you. We all need it. This guy's got nobody to do that because I don't think anybody can. And it's his downfall. And the scariest thing is he knows it too.
Yeah.
He knows it.
I think he's going to die. He's going to be one of the ones that dies alone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm surprised Charlotte hasn't written him off completely. I mean, he's made a fool of himself over and over and over again. You're looked at as one of the greatest of all time in your industry that you've been in. And to be looked at like that, dude, it's embarrassing. And I'm sorry for him. I really do.
I do too. Because he doesn't seem like an awful human being in all ways. He seems like he has some endearing qualities to him as well. And I don't want this just to be a dog pile in the Nature Boy.
No.
We'll get on to some good stuff in a minute, but that's why we did the topic of the show and we were talking about last week, because it's hard to remember the good of him because so much of the last years has just been clouded by negativity. So let me get to a couple of the comments, and then I'm going to come back with a thought before we go to break that I want to leave everybody, and we'll take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk some positive stuff. But let me get to a few of the comments. Ric Flair on Baywatch is the best way to see Ric Flair. Ric Flair, no matter what he came from. I never saw him on Baywatch. Did you?
I never saw it either.
I never watched Baywatch a day in my life, bro.
Me neither. I never saw the appeal of it. I mean,
I didn't give a shit
Pamela
about
Anderson, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care about seeing a girl in a bikini. But at the time, it was like people be like, "Oh, Baywatch, man, Pamela Anderson." I mean, beautiful women on there, but I never saw him on it, so I'd have to go check that out.
Right.
He did wrestle Wyndham. It's many times, if I remember correctly. They had pretty lengthy, feuds that him and Wyndham had at certain points, and their careers intertwined often.
Yeah.
What about a party with Ric Flair and Ozzy Osbourne in the 80s?
Oh,
Be like, who
Jesus
out?
Christ.
I think Ozzy would have been the drugs, and Rick would have been the booze, and it would have been who was standing at the end. Can you imagine a party with Rick and Ozzy?
There's not enough cocaine on the planet for those two.
Bro, somebody's going to die that night, probably. Can you just imagine the conversation with the drunk Flair and the stoned Ozzy in his prime? Radio on.
I have been too many, but
Ric Flair did well wrestling in Japan, talent in both the United States. Yeah, he had great careers in Japan too. I can't completely hate on the man. My first time at a live event, I was a 6-year-old kid at the Omni in Atlanta, and I got to see Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes making magic. Horseman came in at the end, but Sting and the Road Warriors saved Dusty, and I've been hooked ever since. Fair enough, sir. I can definitely understand that moment. Omni, historic arena out in Atlanta. A party with Rick and Ozzy in the 80s would be like a party in the first Ted film.
Jesus. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas for sure.
I love the movie Platoon. It reminds me of Ric Flair unchecked with the drugs and booze.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a great drawing comparison there.
It is. It's a great movie, too.
Yeah, for sure. William Dafoe's the shit.
The only thing I have in common with Ric Flair is I'll never retire. Woo!
I think that's all of us.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't want to be that way either.
Right.
I think Charlotte's the same age as me, 39. Well, she is single now, Laza.
There you go. She's not with Andrade anymore?
They divorced.
Really?
Yeah, they divorced last year.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, she's on number 3 there.
Jesus. Oh, that was the Tiffany Stratton joke. Okay,
yeah, that was the Tiffany Stratton joke, remember?
Drew the comparison now.
Yeah, she's on 3 marriages already, and hey, whatever, But Laza, hit her up, man. You got some of those liners. Hit her up, man. Put a little charm out there.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with her. I don't know if I would. Can you imagine? She doesn't seem. I don't know. I don't think she'd be a good partner. She doesn't seem. It's like you see her relationships, and it's like every 3 to 4 years she's divorced.
I can't say much, dude.
You haven't been divorced 5 times or 3 times already.
It's still it's. I understand. It's hard, dude. It's hard. So I get it.
Well,
Rewind though. Rewind might be a perfect candidate for Charlotte.
Bro, do you think she can handle him?
Maybe. We got to get it. We got to get a punishment bowl. We got to get a punishment bowl with Rewind.
He's not around tonight, apparently.
Yes, he is. He's the fucking rabbi. Rewind, just give it up, dude. We know you're the rabbi.
Bro, Rishi's calling you out, Rewind.
We know you're here. You wouldn't be missing the show that much. You're purely rabbi now. I get it, dude. Just
say his name and he appears. Will it happen?
Yeah, for sure.
He might be hiding out under there. Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Well, let's do something happy. Let's take it like a 5 to 10 minute break and let's look a little happy here.
The happiness is the pee break.
Pretty much, but when you're old like us and you got to take a fucking piss every 5 minutes, and
I got an old woman bladder now, dude.
Yeah, we relish these moments in our old age. But what I want you to think of too for when we come back, and you guys can share your moments in the comments tonight, and let us know some of your favorite ones. So think of them too. What are some of your favorite Ric Flair moments, and why did you like it so much? So I'm probably not going to bring anybody on tonight, but we can put them in the comments when we come back. So think about that. Let's end it on a happy note tonight for Rick, and let's take a quick break, and then we'll look at the positives of his career, your favorite moments in the history of Ric Flair's illustrious career. So we'll be back. We'll say 5 to 10, and we'll see you guys on the other side. We'll be back in a few. Don't leave. All right, we're back now. Before we get into the positives, though, I want to pose a question at you, Mr. Richie Reardon, and everybody in the
Yes,
audience.
sir.
All right, so I want to end on a positive, but before we do, we got to talk the end of his career and some of the negatives that have really surfaced through the years, because it's important to note that this guy has been marred in controversy, meaning Eric Bischoff, or not Eric Bischoff. Rand mentions Eric Bischoff here,
Ric
but
Flair.
Ric Flair, yeah. He's been marred in controversy through the years, from like you mentioned earlier with the plane ride in hell incident through his massive drinking through the years and his partying lifestyle and ways and just the constant marriages and breakups that he's had through the years, the financial instabilities. And then recently it's come out that, like you mentioned earlier, it's sad to see that, this guy has been apparently known and as a, throughout Tampa, there's a Reddit community that's kind of designed that brought this out, that Rick is notorious for getting shit faced and drunk and shitting himself in bars in Tampa now and things like that. But Rick never gets the hate that other people do. And this is my question to you. We talk about Hogan, and Hogan gets this just hate from people, that either love him or hate him, and they don't forgive him for the couple of misgivings that he had through the years. Rick has done all the same stuff and way worse, if not in different ways, way worse, throughout his whole career. And people always still welcome him, and they still overlook it, it seems. Why do you think they overlook it for Ric Flair, who's had probably way more incidents, of negativity and bad things that he's done? Why do you think they overlook Ric Flair and they shit on and pile on a guy like Hogan instead? What do you think is the reason for that? And I want to hear you guys' comments, as well in the audience. Put your comments in why you think this. What's the reason you think, Richie?
That's a great question when you look at it, because I honestly think that the personas were different in wrestling, and a lot of it gets intertwined. Like Vince McMahon, for instance, when you read those love letters with Janelle Grant, the lawsuit and stuff like that, like you literally read them in Vince McMahon's voice because we're conditioned to see these guys as their wrestling character. So Hulk Hogan was the say your prayers, eat your vitamins, do everything right kind of guy. So when they found out he wasn't that kind of guy in real life with some of the mistakes that he made, it killed the kayfabe and it made him look like this, lower than life dirtbag piece of shit. So everybody was kind of betrayed in a way. So the illusion was killed, right? And then, of course, all the political stuff that you can add on to that, which we don't cover here, but, you could add all that on there too. Ric Flair has always been the dirtiest player in the game in wrestling. Mm-hmm. His character has always been the shitbag, the womanizer, the everything like that. So he didn't set a standard of doing the right thing and stuff like that with his character. So it wasn't out of the illusion for people in the public view to see him as anything different than what he is on his character, which is what he is in real life. So I think that's where Ric Flair gets a pass, and it's unfair and it's wrong and stuff like that. And I think Hulk Hogan definitely deserves a little bit more of a pass than Ric Flair does. If I'm being honest, I think Hulk Hogan was a little bit better human being in the spectrum of that. But that's why it is, man. It's kayfabe. It's their character that they portrayed on TV. Hulk Hogan betrayed the character he was by doing the kind of things that he did, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And he made good by getting saved and kind of rectifying all that situation. But unfortunately, there's still people that aren't going to forgive him, Mm-hmm. Ric Flair has always been looked at that because that's who his character was. And it's that simple.
I think it's a great point. And I think you make a really fantastic point there with it. I think the other thing is you have to look at it with this character that Ric Flair is, which isn't a character, which is who he is.
It's who he is.
People love him because it's like you said, that's his character and that's what he is, and people love that about him. But I also think the other reason he gets a pass is because I think a lot of the stuff Ric Flair has done in his, negatively in the public, or the lifestyle that he's lived more so, is a lifestyle that a lot of people wish they could have, that they could travel the world, get paid millions of dollars, party it like crazy,
carelessly,
just be careless with everything that they do, bang every broad in the world, like he did. And I think a lot of people want to be like that in their own mind, that he kind of is what they want to be.
He's in rap videos at his age. Like the rappers are all talking about him. You got the Ric Flair drip, rap song and stuff like that. Like he's a huge pop culture icon and stuff like that, and the robes and the flashy lifestyle, and like you said, the womanizing behavior and stuff like that. He's Conor McGregor of the wrestling world, that's what he is.
People, and I don't understand because I'm not like that. Listen, me and you have partied. we have partied enough to.
There's been some regretful nights, I'd say.
Yeah, more than a few. And I think that a lot of you guys can attest to that. Listen, we've partied enough in our time.
I still drink beer better than you.
You bitch! I would have whooped you back in my day,
dude. Hey, public opinion, you guys in the chat. You guys remember the?
Listen, I'm a lightweight now, bro.
You left your little sip in there, bud.
Hey, brother. In my day, I would
drink it like an Air Force guy.
Oh,
I'll give you that.
Bro.
You were probably a good beer drinker in the.
I was Frank the Tank back in the day, but that was a long fucking time ago. What's my joke? I always say, because Richie always tells me behind the scenes, folks. Like. We've been trying to plan a trip for years, but because of our schedules with work, it's just so insane and hard for us that we've been trying. But we're going to get it. We're getting it in 2026, guaranteed. Yeah. It's going to happen.
We will.
So Richie always tells me every single time, because he knows I don't drink and I don't do anything. It's that he says, I know you still got a little fucking gas left in your tank. He's like, I'm going to get you out one night. I'm going to get you to be like Frank the Tank from fucking old school. Like we're going to get you in that way. And I'm like, man, back in the day, I could have fun with the best of them, just like you could. We were drinking more beers and having more of a good time than anybody when we were younger. Yeah. But we did this magical thing called we grew up, Right. And we still had fun, do certain things and what have you. But the reality is
at some point,
we outgrew those things, and we're not like that anymore. Ric Flair is like the guy that never grew up, and I can't understand wanting to be that way at that point for your entire life. To me, it'd be fun when you're in your younger years, but then what happens? You want to settle down. You want to have a family potentially for a lot of people. Some people don't, and I respect that too. They want to live their life the single.
He didn't want to turn it off, man.
Never wanted to. Like I can't fathom to think. I'm 43 going on 44, and I can't fathom to think of living my life at 76 years old, or even when like he was 43, living that party lifestyle. Like if I had more than a few drinks in a night now, I would regret it the entire next day with a hangover from hell because, I'm not like that anymore. I grew up. I was a young kid. I had my fun when I was young. I can't imagine at 43, let alone at 76, being that way still.
Dude, I don't think my body would keep up. You know what I mean? Like
how has this man's body fucking kept up?
How has he not had a liver transplant? That's what I want to know.
Seriously,
dude, what were you putting in your bait? And not to mention, like he's been in an airplane crash. He's been in all these different things. Like had so many injuries in the wrestling world. Just mental health problems for days and shit. And Ric Flair just doesn't die, dude. He's got.
And I'm glad for that for him. I can't imagine. Like, think about this guy was in a medically induced coma in the hospital for months,
from partying.
From partying and bad lifestyle his whole life, and he was on death's door, ready to die at any second. Yeah. And he got another, walk on or lease on life here that he got the opportunity to be able to once again. Sorry, my Cujos just came in here and wanted to join me for the show. So if you hear my dogs in the background, I apologize. Yeah. Hello, boys. Nice to see you. But think about like this guy got right out of a medically induced coma for months and being in the hospital.
Went to the fucking bar, bro,
right across the street, and got himself a vodka and cranberry. Can you believe that?
That's just how Ric Flair is, man. I mean, you look at the difference between Hulk Hogan and him. Hulk Hogan had the real American beer, and he was a workhorse, and he was, from what I read on Brooke Hogan stuff, which you could take that for what it is. She was saying that he was working himself to death to pay off debts and, keep up with the lifestyle with his new younger wife and all these different things. Hulk Hogan was a workhorse, and he's another one that was a victim of that. He couldn't ever put the character away. So, I think it's just that generation of guys. And when you get to that level where you're looked at as the GOAT in your industry, it's hard to put that away, man, because you're constantly getting recognition. You're constantly the center of attention. Everybody wants to know you. Everybody wants to be your best friend. And that's an addiction in itself, right? I mean, everybody wants to be the guy, and they're the guy. 99% of the time, they're the guy. If they're in a crowd, they're the guy, that everybody wants to be around, everybody wants a picture, autograph, this and that. They couldn't turn it off, man.
Ric Flair is the real life James Bond. Lassa says, Jeremy said, video evidence shows Richie was the better man that night.
Woo!
I don't know where this video evidence is. I don't know what you're talking about, by the way.
That's Jude. He was the ref.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any of this, Maybe I got some, selective amnesia. Or
I will say you beat my ass in WCW trivia, though.
I killed your ass in that one.
You did.
We're gonna have another competition here soon. It's coming. Yeah. We've been actively thinking about our next topic we're gonna do for trivia because it's been a while. So
John can't help it, man. He was in the Air Force,
Oh boy. That's what I say to that one.
They issue you a chair. That's just kidding.
That's what I say to that. I worked with you grunts enough, okay? You know that.
I know.
I worked with you assholes enough, man. I was the minority in the Air Force.
Okay, so. I always got told, Army stands for ain't ready for Marines yet, all this other bullshit.
Jesus,
so
man,
it's all right. We all have the rivalries.
Rand says Rick is the in-body of better to burn out than fade away. I think he's done all the partying that he has to have the cardio for those matches 7 days a week. This is my dog, Charlie. This is Charlie right here.
There he is.
There's my man. He's my little pom. He's going to get his hair cut on Friday. He's getting long right now. So he's my little pom.
There you go.
He's our little criminal. So he's always
the man.
Yeah, Charlie's the man. Charlie's a good guy, ain't you, Charlie?
Yeah.
He's always got to be with me.
He could get the women like Ric Flair, huh?
Bro, Charlie could get the babes way better than Ric Flair, I think.
You gotta get that dog a robe like Ric Flair, too.
Bro, what was the best way to pick up chicks back at certain points in your life? Was always going out? Go out with the dog, man. I'm going to give people who are single.
Especially that thing, dude.
Go out to the park, man. You want an instant icebreaker with a girl? Is go walk with your dog in the park.
Go walk with a Pomeranian.
Yeah. Oh, your dog is so cute. So am I.
Right.
What's your favorite Ric Flair memory, though?
My favorite Ric Flair memory was him and Vince McMahon when they were doing the 50-50 ownership. Nobody expected him to show back up in the WWE. That was one of the best times to be a wrestling fan. And the energy he brought into that and stuff it was just a good time to see him get back on the horse of who he actually was and not the debacle that WCW booked him as, where he was in a care home and doing all these crazy fucking sketches and stuff. I hated that shit. So I got a glimpse of the jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, Ric Flair. In that moment in time, he got his confidence back. To see him go against The Undertaker that year at WrestleMania and stuff, it was just great to see. So that was a good moment. My favorite moment of all time, though, was his send-off. Shawn Michaels, I'm sorry, I love you, the sweet chin music. You can't write a better story ending than that for his career. And I wish that would have been the last time we saw him in the ring, selfishly. But it wasn't. But, to me, that was the best good feeling moment in Ric Flair's, whole career. So, it was the culmination of his whole career. Great send-off, great video package. I don't think WWE could have wrote a better ending for him.
I think it was the greatest send-off in professional wrestling history for somebody.
Yeah.
I think it was even better than Cena's, the way they've done Cena's with, Cena's stuff has had some bad shit. It's also had some good shit in it for him too. Yeah. And there's still a lot more to come. So we can't make that judgment until the end. But
I would say the only one that got it right closest to that was The Undertaker.
You mean with going out at the Hall of Fame and getting that long speech and everything like that?
No, his last match where they did the cinematic match and he rode
with
off
AJ?
On his bike and stuff when he was that last outlaw, whooped the shit out of all of them.
Yeah.
The worst one of all time, in my opinion, that I wish we would have got a better send off on was Triple H. It's
he never got one.
That his heart, he never got one. Worst criminal act in wrestling history of the wrestling gods taking that from us, unfortunately.
And they couldn't do anything with it because of his heart issues. He couldn't get in there. I mean, I agree with you. I think his greatest moment ever is the send-off that he got. It was one of the most profound moments, like, for wrestling fans when you watch it, like you said, where he
even if you weren't a Ric Flair fan, dude, just the
send-off
feeling.
I wasn't, and I love that moment with him and Shawn Michaels.
I have the signed picture. I have them both signature on it. Yeah, just great.
Tells him he loves him and then super kicks him and pins him.
Old Yeller, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to everybody, and it was such a great story because even the greatest fighters, you look at it and fighting in real, the real fighting and combat side of it, nobody gets out unscathed, man. Everybody at the end of the day, gets knocked out eventually, pretty much.
Right.
It happens to the greatest fighters, or they get slow. Look at MMA. Chuck Liddell crushed everybody forever. Chuck got punchy and old when he got knocked out once, and it was the end for him. And eventually they all go out, and you have to put somebody out to pasture. It's not always the most fun thing in the world to do, but it was such a great send-off for Rick, and it was such a great moment. But I'll grab some other moments for him that I'll hit on with some stuff that I've gone back and watched through the years that I didn't really get a chance to see live. Was a lot of the stuff that he did with Sting too, in Sting's career. He made Sting. Let's be realistic. Let's be fair. We're always going to give flowers to somebody. Dude made Sting. He made Sting into an icon when he beat him. And he finally got that run. I think it was like 1990 Great American Bash or something when he got it finally. And when you go back and you watch that, even though I didn't watch it at that period of time, as I've gone through and watched wrestling history through the years and old shows and these things and learned the stories that I didn't know, man, Rick was the man, and him putting Sting over was like the greatest thing in the world for him. And look what it did for Sting's career,
And some people programs with Harley Race too, dude.
Yeah. And Terry Funk and Ricky Steamboat and Dusty Rhodes and God knows how many other people that he's done. I mean, we can say he's done the same match a million times, but let's be realistic. They wouldn't have kept paying him the money they did for all those years if he wasn't generating them some scratch and some good money.
True.
If he was boring to people like us, there was another 3-4 million people that loved watching that too.
Sure.
Sure. It's different now. It's hindsight's 2020. When people go back and look at Rick's stuff now, it doesn't seem as innovative to them, because they see so many crazy things now. But the stuff that
he was the first one to do it.
Yeah. And think about, like Jeremy had said earlier, this guy was, fucking wrestling 1 hour Broadways every single night, 7 days a week, 360 fucking 5 days a year. He's out there doing it too.
Yeah. Taking the same bumps over and over and over again.
And he's worked with all the greats, Hogan always says, I love the respect between these two. Hogan always says that Ric Flair is the greatest professional wrestler of all time. He's always said it. Always. Right.
He always did till his dying day.
Yep. And I believe in his mind he meant it, to be honest with you.
For sure.
And Rick has always said the greatest professional wrestler of all time is Hulk Hogan. So whatever you think of him, look at it right that too. When Hulk Hogan says that you're the greatest professional wrestler of all time, whether you're friends or not, that means something there. And countless others who were bigger Ric Flair fans, let's be realistic too, there was bigger Ric Flair fans in some places than there was Hulk Hogan.
And let's be honest too. I mean, you can't really fault Rick financially, because it just seems like that generation of wrestler never held on to their money.
No,
Dusty Rhodes,
not many of them.
Hulk Hogan was financially Ruined for a little bit. Ric Flair financially ruined. All the top guys of that generation are not, financially set for life. It's because they paved the way for all the people that followed. They should be thanking those guys for the paychecks they get now, and that the business is cleaned up now, because they set a better example for the future, and what not to do, so.
Jeremy mentioned Chi-Town Rumble, Flair Steamboat. Did we ever do that match, me and you?
We've never done a watch long on that.
Okay. I think I did it years and years ago. Me and Chris did it. So I would be down to watch it. Have you ever seen that match with him and Steamboat, Chi-Town Rumble?
I've seen it. I would love to do a watch along. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I think it'd be fitting. We could definitely squeeze it in sometime this year. It's a fun match, and let's be realistic. If you got a Flair Steamboat match, it's going to be a good one, and it's going to be fun. I don't think I've seen all their trilogy. I think it was their trilogy, that they had originally. I've seen all those matches that led up to it, all the things and the other feuds that were, at that time in Ric Flair's career, because Terry Funk came in there, in between that before they finished it. And it helped set up a lot of stuff. And let's be fair once again. Rick was doing some great shit at that time, man. Same match all day, whatever. Fucking A, man. He was selling places out, and he was doing an amazing job with it. So, Jeremy, I knew you'd like that one, because I know you're a big fan of it. That's my favorite Sting outfit ever, too, was the Great American Bash 1990 outfit that Sting came out with. Oh, my God.
What an incredible outfit he came out in.
So cool.
The red and the white and the blue, dude.
Yep.
Didn't get no better than
the
that.
Tassels hanging down. That's just 1990 right there, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's just 1990. And Sting,
the flat top with the rat tail.
Dude, when I saw Sting as a kid for the first time, and I started to get into Sting later on, I was hooked, man. Stinger was my guy that hooked me in WCW. I was like,
Yep.
because to me, he was always their version of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That was my opinion on it. So,
Yep.
Like Rick, though, man, let's give him his flowers. He's had one hell of a career, brother,
Yep.
and he has given us plenty of memories to last a lifetime.
Yeah,
I forgot to talk about this earlier, so let's close on this here. Have you seen the new show WWE Unreal on Netflix? Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. It's where they do the back, it's
Correct.
like the behind the scenes shit of what it's like to be a WWE producer type of deal. I haven't seen it yet. I'm kind of reserved on it. I don't know if I want to watch it. I don't like this whole attitude. I kind of share the same behavior as the Undertaker did. There's certain things you should show, and this show is that prime example of all that. It just kills the whole illusion for everything. And I think there's just some things in the wrestling business you shouldn't see, and this show is that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So here's my spin. I haven't seen all the episodes, so don't spoil everything for me yet. I think I've watched 4 of them, or I'm finishing the 4th one now. I'm on the Heels episode, whatever that is, 4 or 5. All right. So first impression right off the bat was it took a few minutes to grab my attention. And when it grabbed my attention, I was very interested in watching it. Okay. And I thought they had really good story in it and really good context. I thought it was really interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes and how they put things together, the creative side of things. I think it's very interesting to see. But I am not a fan of this for one reason. Because, listen, you go to certain places, say a restaurant, that's famous for something, and they have their secret, right? They got their secret sauce. They got their special meal, Do you ever know how to make the secret sauce at the place? They ain't giving that up, right?
Nope.
They're not telling you what it is, what's made in it. They're not giving you their recipe to cook their famous meal. Yeah, you could probably figure it out a little bit or pretty much most of it, but you're not going to make it just the way that is famous for it.
Right.
When I watch this show, they give you a very good look at everything that goes on and what it encompasses. Sauce. Yeah, they're giving you the secret sauce.
It's like I draw it in comparison to this, like Chris Angel.
Mm-hmm.
You watch Chris Angel's show; he's a magician. He does all these fucking miraculous things.
You're blown away.
You're blown away, and you want to know how he did it, but you really don't want to know how he did it because the second you find out how he did it, it's not special anymore.
Yeah. It's fun to look at somebody like when they're doing something like Chris Angel or wrestling or any type of like entertainment like that or a movie. It's great to see. It's great to know that you can get spoilers anytime you want. But by God, when you're into that show, you don't want no fucking spoilers. You want to be seeing everything. You don't want to know what's going on behind the scenes. You want to see it play out. You want to see the storyline for most people. Yeah. I don't want to, I really like it. I think that it's fantastically produced, and this isn't a knock on them. And them doing it, I think since they started it, I think they have to continue it. And I think it's going to be very successful for them, but they're giving their secret sauce away. And watching it, I feel guilty watching it a little bit. As a lifelong wrestling fan, I like to try to figure out on my own storylines where they might be going, talking on the show, talking with all you guys like we're doing. I don't necessarily want to know how they do it.
I got to be honest with you. When Beyond the Mat came out when I was a kid, Beyond the Mat was like one of the big documentaries back in the day that like blew the lid off of wrestling, and behind the scenes, it was the first look that you really got, And when Beyond the Mat came out, I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I thought it was a horrible thing that came out, and I thought it was a total disrespectful thing that a piece of shit that was let in the wrestling industry, blew, he peeled the curtain back, for instance. It's like, when you do that, you take the special feeling or the illusion, which is what wrestling is. It's an illusion show. You take that away. You're taking what's special about it away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the internet in a lot of ways has killed wrestling because everybody has information at the drop of a hat and you know what's going to happen. For instance, Drew McIntyre is stuck, and he's not going to be involved in this gigantic storyline that they've based Jelly Roll in and all these different things. Back in the day when that happened, you wouldn't know who was going to replace the person. You wouldn't know that this was all going on behind the scenes and stuff. It just happened at the drop of a hat, and it would make a moment that was special. It would be a shocker, Now, we're probably going to know the participant before he even steps in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen back in the day when we were kids, you know? So that part sucks about today's wrestling, in my opinion. And that's what this show is. It peels the curtain too much back for me.
Listen, I enjoy Beyond the Mat too, Laza. I enjoyed them all. It's interesting to see, and Jeremy, I have enjoyed it too. I think it's fantastically put together. Like WWE's production value, man, there's not many people that can touch what they do. Movies, TV, it's insane. Their documentaries they do are some of the best documentaries, and they're super. Not just because I'm a wrestling fan and you're a wrestling fan, they're just super interesting in general. You know, they really do a great job at that.
Yeah.
It's just to me the old school side. I'm gonna watch them because it's good, and they've already done it, so you can't undo what they've done. So they got to continue on with it if it's a success, and I can't imagine it's not going to be a success. Jeremy, how many episodes? Does anybody know how many episodes are going to come out of it? I would assume probably like 10, and maybe do it seasonally or something like that. Do you guys know how many episodes it's going to have? Because I mean, they really have some interesting spins on things. It's just too much pulling back the curtain for me, and it kills even more the illusion.
Yeah,
you know, and for that reason, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I also am realistic, and that we are a little old school now, and the younger generations really want to see the secret sauce and how it's made. Where we just enjoy eating it. You know,
yeah, for sure.
We're just happy for that moment. So, but kudos to WWE. Richie, give it a chance and look if you want. Like it's definitely worth your time. The episodes are very interesting and they grab you. So, Tales of the Territory is a good one too, Laza. So, 5 episodes and they bring it back next year. Jeremy said, "Oh man, all right. Well, we're gonna have to wait till next year to see more." So, you know, that's the hook right there that they kind of get you on, I guess, right? So,
yep, for sure.
That's episodic stuff right there. Well, any closing thoughts before we get off tonight, Richie?
I appreciate you all coming out again for another episode. I hope you enjoyed the content. Johnny's going to be out of here for a little bit for a vacation. You never know. I might pop into a show or something while he's away. It's not going to be the same without him. You know, he's my tag team partner in this whole thing, but we're going to miss the show a lot. It's my favorite day of the week. When we get on here, we talk shop with you guys and do this stuff, man. So I appreciate y'all returning and, you know, accepting us back and stuff. And we're going to give you more content, and good stuff is on the horizon. He'll be back before you know it. We'll be back to doing regular shows again. So I hope you have a great vacation, John. I hope you get back safe to us, man.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Lord knows you know how much I love to travel. So it's
I know it.
My favorite time to do, and I'm going to miss you guys while I'm gone, but it'll be for a few weeks. We'll be back at the end of August. So we're just going to be off for a few weeks, guys. Promise you we'll be right back after a little vacation. That's why we always warn you guys earlier in the year that, you know, or earlier before the summer started. We've talked about it a bunch of times. Everybody's got some time to take off and catch up and refresh. And we're going to be back in action, and we're going to have some great topics when we get back. Lots of great things to talk about. We'll miss you guys till we see you again in a few weeks, but we'll see you guys again at the end of the month. Always a pleasure. We always appreciate all your time. Jeremy, happy birthday, my friend. Enjoy your time. I know you're going on vacation tomorrow, so I hope you enjoy your vacation. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, we'll see you guys real soon, just a few weeks. Until then, be well. For Richie, I'm John. We're out of here. See you guys soon.